My name is Ella. I am 11 years old, and last summer, my mom left for Europe with a suitcase in one hand and a single crumpled $20 bill pressed into mine. You're independent now, she said, flashing that bright, practiced smile, the one she used when avoiding hard conversations. You're not a baby anymore. Just order food if you need to. Independent. That was her word, not mine. I stared at the bill in my palm, $20. No plan, no babysitter, not even a real goodbye. Just a fake kiss on my forehead, the sound of her suitcase rolling down the driveway, and the front door clicking shut behind her. I'll be fine, I whispered to the empty hallway, as if saying it could make it true. But my hands shook. The house was silent. No one to cook, no one to check on me, no one who even knew I'd been left behind. I tried to turn it into a challenge. Day one, I told myself, I'll prove I can handle this. I counted the cans in the pantry, checked the half empty fridge, and pushed my fear down as deep as it would go. If she thought I was independent, then she'd see what that really looked like. Because as that month dragged on, the $20 vanished, the food disappeared, and the silence in our house grew heavier than loneliness. And when they finally came back, what my mom saw inside our home made her whisper, "No, no, this can't be happening." Do you want to know how being left with $20 at 11 turned into the one decision that made my parents regret everything they'd ever done to me? Stay until the end, and you'll see exactly how I made sure they'd never forget it. The first real problem hit 10 minutes after her taxi disappeared. She tossed a shiny emergency credit card on the counter like it was a magic solution. But there was one catch, it wasn't activated, and I didn't know the PIN. I found out the hard way, standing in the kitchen with my phone, watching every food app reject the card again and again. So it was just me, a dead card, and $20. Day one, I turned it into a game. I sliced bread paper thin, spread peanut butter so lightly it was barely there, and told myself real survivors made things last. I even joked that this would be a wild story someday. By day three, it stopped being funny. The pantry looked like an ad for hunger, empty shelves, a dented can I couldn't open without cutting myself, a box of cereal that was mostly air, and a jar of pickles I hated. My stomach growled so loud it embarrassed me, even though no one else was home. I blasted the TV just to fill the silence, letting noise drown out the creaks of the house. I opened my mom's laptop and scrolled through her work emails stacked high, like they mattered more than anything else. Then I grabbed my notebook and wrote in big letters at the top, evidence. Below it, I scribbled, left alone at 11, $20. No food, no check ins. I didn't know what I'd do with it, but writing it down made something inside me shift. If they thought I was old enough to be abandoned, then I was old enough to remember everything, to record it, to show someone someday how they chose a vacation over me. I picked up my phone and opened the video app. Day three, I said quietly, my face looking smaller and paler than I expected. I'm still alone. The car doesn't work. I ate the last decent thing in the fridge yesterday. I paused, swallowed hard. If you're seeing this, it means someone finally asked what happened to me. I saved the clip and locked my phone, heart hammering. Part of me hoped no one would ever watch it. Another part wanted that video to explode in my mom's face when she got home. I hovered over my best friend's name but couldn't bring myself to admit I was hungry and scared. So I sent something normal. How was your trip? No reply. Maybe she was by a lake, laughing with her family, not even checking her phone. My stomach twisted. By day five, hunger wrapped around my brain like fog. I got dizzy standing up too fast. I found a half-empty cereal box buried in the cupboard and ate it dry from the bag, making every handful last. I opened my notebook again. Day five, still no call, not even a text. Then I added, If I disappear, this will prove it wasn't my fault. That's when everything changed. This wasn't just about surviving until they came back. This was about what would happen to them when the world finally saw what they'd done. On day 7, my body felt weak, but my anger burned stronger. I shuffled to the window and watched kids ride bikes down the street, a dog bark at a delivery truck, a couple walk by, holding coffee cups, normal lives, normal parents. I looked at our empty driveway and whispered, "You chose Europe over me. Do you know what that's going to cost you?" As if the universe heard me, the doorbell rang. I froze. No one ever rang our bell. Packages were dropped, neighbors knocked, 3 sharp knocks followed. My heart pounded. I thought about pretending I wasn't home, but then another thought cut through the fear. What if this is the moment someone finally sees me? Hands shaking, I reached for the handle. If you were 11, starving, and completely alone, would you open that door or keep pretending everything was fine? I cracked it open just enough to see who was there. Standing on the porch was a man in a green jacket with my school's emblem stitched on the chest. It took me a second to place him outside the classroom. "Hi, Ella," he said gently. It was Mr. Hayes, my school counselor. "I've been trying to reach your parents. They didn't answer. Can I come in for a moment?" My first instinct was to lie, to say they were just out, that I was fine. But my hand loosened on the door. "Sure," I murmured. "I guess." He stepped inside, and the silence suddenly felt heavier. The dishes in the sink, the empty counter, the bare fruit bowl, all of it became evidence I hadn't meant to leave out. "Are your parents at work?" he asked, scanning for someone who wasn't there. "They're in Europe," I said, my voice flat. "For a month?" His eyebrows shot up. "And who's staying with you?" I swallowed. This was the line. Protect them or tell the truth. "Just me," I admitted. "They said I'm mature enough." Something in his face changed, like a switch flipping from concern to alarm. He pulled out a chair. "Ella, how long have you been alone?" "A week," I whispered. "Do you have enough food? Money?" I let out a small, bitter laugh. "They left me a credit card that doesn't work and $20. He stared at me, not like a teacher when you forget homework, but like he was counting all the ways this was wrong. "This is not okay," he said finally. "You know that, right?" I shrugged, though my chest ached. They said they needed a break, that I should be able to handle it. "And how have you been handling it?" I wanted to say fine, but my notebook lay open on the table, evidence staring back. "I've been hungry," I said, "and scared, and I've been writing things down just in case." "Just in case what?" "Just in case something happens to me. So no one can say they didn't know." He nodded slowly. "Leaving an 1-year-old alone like this isn't just irresponsible, it's neglect. There are laws." My heart thudded. "What happens if someone finds out?" "Agencies get involved. Child Protective Services. Your parents could face serious consequences." "Consequences for what they did to me." "Do you want help, Ella?" he asked. "Real help, not just groceries. The kind that makes sure this never happens again." I hesitated. But the part of me that had been writing evidence was tired of pretending. "Yes," I said. "But if I say yes, what does that mean for them?" "It means they'll have to answer for their choices. It means adults will finally see what you've been through." I looked down, then back up. "Then help me. I want them to see exactly what they did. I want them to feel what it's like to lose control." He nodded once. "First, we make sure you're safe. Then, we make sure the right people hear your story." As he stepped into the hallway to call, a strange calm settled over me. I wasn't just waiting to be rescued anymore. I was the witness. Mr. Hayes called my neighbor, Mrs. Alvarez, and someone from the Child Protection Hotline. A soft knock came minutes later. Mrs. Alvarez stepped in, her eyes scanning my face, the empty cereal box, the notebook. "Oh, Ella," she breathed. "Why didn't you come to me sooner?" "Because I didn't want to look weak," I blurted. "They always say I'm mature." "Asking for help isn't weakness," she said. It's survival, and sometimes it's the only way to make adults face what they do. We sat together, and for the first time, I didn't feel like a kid being talked over. I told them everything: the suitcase, the $20, the debt card, my mom's laugh when I asked who'd stay with me. You'll be fine, she'd said. You're my little adult. Mrs. Alvarez's jaw tightened. Mr. Hayes took notes. Can we show them this? I asked, pointing to my notebook. Yes, he said. Keep writing what you felt, what you ate, everything, so they can't twist it later. So they can't say I'm exaggerating. Exactly. You're allowed to protect yourself with the truth. Um, Later, the caseworker arrived. She looked at the empty fridge, the unused card, the wrapper filled trash. How long have they been gone? 7 days. They planned a month. Who checks on you? No one until today. Do they call? Just a selfie from Paris with a heart emoji. That was it. She nodded. For now, you won't be alone again. You'll stay with Mrs. Alvarez while we figure out next steps. I glanced at my neighbor. She smiled softly. Is that okay? I thought of my empty house, my mom's last message about croissants instead of me, and what it would do to them when they came home to an official report. Yes, I said. I want to stay somewhere I'm not invisible. Moving next door felt like crossing a line I couldn't uncross. Mrs. Alvarez's house smelled like laundry and vanilla. Her fridge was full of real food. My stomach growled. We'll fix that first, she said gently. We walked to my kitchen with reusable bags. She let me choose pasta, sauce, vegetables, bread, fruit. Keep the receipts, Mr. Hayes said. They show what wasn't here before. We tucked them into my notebook behind the hunger entries. Evidence, layer by layer. As we cooked spaghetti, the sounds of boiling water and sizzling garlic wrapped around me like something I'd missed without knowing it. Nobody can take this away from you, she said. Learning to feed yourself properly, that's power. Later, the caseworker asked for my mom's messages. I showed her the Paris selfie. Finally, free for a month. Free from what? The worker asked. From me, I guess. I wrote a note for my parents. You said I was mature enough to be alone. But that doesn't mean I don't need food or that I don't get scared. By the time you read this, adults have already seen what you did. If there are consequences, they're not because I betrayed you. They're because you left me. That night, eating warm spaghetti at Mrs. Alvarez's table, I almost cried. It tasted like safety, like normal. Later, I recorded one more video. Day 7, but I'm safe now. People saw the truth. If you're my mom watching this, remember, you always said actions have consequences. This time, it's your turn. On the second night, my mom called from her work phone. Ella, what's going on? Why is child services emailing me? Do you know what this looks like for me? No. Are you okay? Just damage control. They're involved because you left me, I said. You went to Europe. Left me with $20 and a dead card. You're exaggerating, she snapped. There was plenty of food. You're dramatic. Mrs. Alvarez leaned close to the speaker. This is Mrs. Alvarez. I bought your daughter groceries because there was almost nothing left. This isn't about reputation, it's about safety. Why are you interfering? My mom hissed. This is a family matter. I cut in. I wasn't fine. I'm not fine with what you did. The line went dead. She's right about one thing, Mrs. Alvarez said softly. There will be consequences, but not just for you. 2 days later, the caseworker told me my parents were coming home early. We prepared not with scripts, but with facts. Printed statements, notebook pages, grocery receipts, call logs, screenshots of her social media. This isn't about punishment, she reminded me. It's about your safety. But I knew this also felt like justice. On the morning they returned, we placed the open notebook on the kitchen table, evidence, on the first page. My phone played the paused video. Day 3, I'm still alone. Mrs. Alvarez stood by the door. Mr. Hayes leaned against the counter. The supervisor sat calmly at the table. Then tires on the driveway, doors slamming, laughter. The front door opened. My mom froze, suitcase in hand, sunglasses on her head. My dad trailed behind, still chatting on his phone. Their smiles vanished when they saw us. What is this? My mom demanded. Miss Lopez from Child Protective Services rose. We need to discuss your daughter's welfare. My mom turned to me. Ella, what did you tell them? The old me would have shrunk. But I looked at my video on the screen, the tired, hungry girl on day 3, and lifted my chin. I told them the truth. My dad tried to laugh it off. We left food, money, a card. She's mature. Miss Lopez placed documents on the table. The dead card record, photos of the empty pantry, logs showing 0 check-ins. My mom finally sat, stunned. Then I played the video. My smaller voice filled the room. If you're seeing this, it means someone finally asked what happened to me. My mom covered her mouth. No, she whispered. This can't be happening. But it was. And this time, she couldn't scroll past it. We've determined this qualifies as neglect, Miss Lopez said. Ella will remain in temporary placement with Mrs. Alvarez. You'll attend parenting classes and supervised visits if the court approves. My mom turned to me, tears falling. Ella, please tell them you want to come home. We'll be better. A part of me remembered bedtime stories, but another part remembered eating dry cereal in the dark. I want to be safe, I said. I want to be somewhere I'm seen before I disappear. Right now, that's not with you. Her face crumpled. As we walked out, I heard her sobbing inside, crossing the grass back to Mrs. Alvarez's. I felt heavy and light at once. I hadn't ruined my family. They'd done that when they chose freedom over me. All I'd done was refuse to hide it. Weeks later, in a courtroom that smelled like old paper, lawyers spoke of risk and safety. My videos were entered as evidence. My notebook scanned. My voice on the stand didn't shake. The judge ordered supervised visits and counseling. My parents didn't go to jail, but they lost the automatic right to be in my life. That summer, I learned to cook, to trust, to protect myself with truth. My mom still sends messages about how much she's changed. Maybe someday we'll find a new kind of normal one that doesn't erase what happened. But I know this. The day she came home from Europe expecting souvenirs and stories, she walked into something she never saw, coming a daughter who turned every empty shelf, every unanswered call, every hungry night into proof. A room full of adults who finally listened. And when she whispered, no, this can't be happening, I realized it already had. It had been happening since she chose a plane ticket over me. So tell me, if you were 11 and left alone with $20 while your parents chased their freedom, would you bury the story to keep their image clean? Or would you do what I did and let the truth be the revenge they never expected? If this story moved you, drop a comment with your country below. You're not alone.